My sister walked in saying, "Mom and Dad already settled it. I'm moving into your place." The first thing I noticed was her suitcase. Not the tiny carry-on kind people drag through airports for a weekend trip. No, this was a giant navy blue suitcase with one broken wheel and a pink ribbon tied around the handle like she planned to stay a while. A long while. My sister, Vanessa, rolled it straight into my apartment without even saying hello. Then she smiled. That smug, effortless smile she always wore whenever Mom and Dad had cleared the path for her. "Mom and Dad already settled it," she announced casually, glancing around my living room like a real estate agent inspecting property. "I'm moving into your place." I stared at her from the kitchen island, still holding the grocery bag I just brought home. For a second, I honestly thought she was joking. Then I saw Mom behind her. And Dad, standing there like backup singers. Dad crossed his arms. "It's only temporary." Mom added quickly, "Just until Vanessa gets back on her feet." I slowly set the grocery bag down. My brand new apartment, the one I had worked 3 jobs to afford, suddenly felt very small. Very crowded. Very familiar. Because this wasn't new. Vanessa had spent our entire lives taking things from me while my parents called it fair. When we were kids, she got my birthday money because she needed school supplies. When I was 16 and bought my first car with savings from waitressing, Dad forced me to let Vanessa use it more than I did. She crashed it 3 months later. Never apologized. When I graduated college with honors, my parents skipped the ceremony because Vanessa was having a hard week. That hard week. She broken up with her boyfriend after cheating on him. And somehow, I was still expected to understand. Always understand. Always sacrifice. But this apartment, this was mine. I'd earned every inch of it. The exposed brick walls. The floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Chicago. The tiny balcony where I drank coffee every morning before work. Mine. After years of sleeping in cramped apartments with roommates who stole food and blasted music at 2 a.m., I had finally built a peaceful life for myself. And now Vanessa stood in the center of it, wearing oversized sunglasses indoors like she owned the place. I finally found my voice. "No." The room went silent. Vanessa blinked. "What?" "No," I repeated calmly. "You're not moving in." Mom laughed, nervously like I'd made a cute joke. "Oh, stop being dramatic, Claire." Dad's face hardened immediately. "Don't start this." "This," I said quietly. "You mean setting boundaries." Vanessa dropped dramatically onto my couch. "God, you're seriously still doing this selfish thing." Selfish. That word again. The family favorite. Funny how selfish always meant not giving Vanessa whatever she wanted. Mom stepped closer to me, lowering her voice like she was negotiating with a hostage situation. "Sweetheart, Vanessa's in trouble." "What kind of trouble?" Vanessa rolled her eyes. "My landlord is insane." I folded my arms. "Meaning?" "She says I owe 4 months' rent." I stared. "Do you?" Vanessa scoffed. "That's not the point." Of course it was. Dad sighed heavily. "Claire, your sister just needs support right now. She needs accountability." The temperature in the room dropped instantly. Mom's expression sharpened. "You know," she said coldly, "family helps each other." I almost laughed. Because family only seemed to flow one direction in our house. Toward Vanessa. Always toward Vanessa. I looked directly at my sister. "How long exactly were you planning to stay?" She shrugged. "A few months, maybe." A few months. In my 1-bedroom apartment. Absolutely not. I said no. Vanessa's face transformed instantly from fake sweetness to fury. "Are you serious right now?" "Yes." "You have all the space." I glanced around my 750 square foot apartment. All this space. Dad stepped forward. Don't be difficult. That sentence snapped something inside me. Difficult. Not exhausted. Not manipulated. Not used. Difficult. I took a slow breath. Then I walked to the front door and opened it wide. You all need to leave. Mom gasped like I'd slapped her. Vanessa stood abruptly. Wow, you're really choosing an apartment over your own sister. No, I said calmly. I'm choosing myself for the first time in my life. Dad's face turned red. You ungrateful little. No, I interrupted sharply. That surprised everyone, including me, because I had never interrupted Dad before. Ever. You don't get to come into my home and decide who lives here. Mom folded her arms. After everything we've done for you. I stared at her. Honestly stared. Because that sentence had controlled me for years. Everything we've done for you. Except now I was 28 years old, standing in an apartment I paid for myself, wearing clothes I bought myself, building a career without their help. And suddenly, the guilt stopped working. What exactly did you do for me? I asked quietly. Silence. Mom blinked. Dad looked offended. Vanessa scoffed. Oh my God, here comes the victim's speech. No, I said, here comes the truth. I looked at all three of them. When Vanessa maxed out her credit cards, you paid them off. My sister shifted uncomfortably. When she got arrested for drunk driving, Dad called in favors. Dad's jaw tightened. When she got fired for screaming at her manager, Mom told everyone she was being discriminated against. Mom looked away. But when I needed help paying tuition, I continued, you told me to work harder. I could hear my own heartbeat now. Years of swallowed anger pouring out. When I got pneumonia during finals week, neither of you came to the hospital because Vanessa had a migraine. Mom whispered, Claire. No, you don't get to Claire me now. Vanessa laughed sarcastically. You seriously kept score this whole time. No, I said softly. I survived it. That landed harder than I expected. Even Dad went quiet. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Vanessa grabbed the handle of her suitcase aggressively. Fine, she snapped. I wouldn't want to live here anyway. Great. Mom looked horrified by my calmness. Dad pointed at me. One day you're going to regret treating family like this. I met his eyes steadily. No, I said. I regret letting family treat me badly. And then I closed the door. Hard. The silence afterward felt unreal. I stood there breathing heavily, staring at the wood grain of the door like I'd just survived a tornado. Then my phone rang. Mom. Decline. Dad. Decline. Vanessa. Blocked. I turned the phone off entirely. And for the first time in my life, I felt peaceful. Until the next morning. That's when I discovered Vanessa had posted about me online. A lot. I woke up to 37 unread texts. Most from extended family. Aunt Linda, I'm disappointed in you. Cousin Rachel, your sister needed help. Grandma, call your mother. Then I saw the Facebook post. Vanessa had uploaded a crying selfie from inside her car. Caption: Imagine being homeless because your own sister values luxury over family. 10,000 likes. Hundreds of comments. Disgusting, family comes first, she sounds heartless. And my favorite. People who become successful always forget where they came from. I stared at the screen in disbelief. Because technically, Vanessa wasn't homeless. She was sitting in a BMW our parents leased for her. But facts had never mattered in my family. Only narratives. And Vanessa was very good at being the victim. By lunchtime, even coworkers were acting weird around me. Apparently, Vanessa had tagged me publicly. Awesome. I sat at my desk, trying to focus when my phone buzzed again. This time from my grandmother. "Your grandfather wants to see you tonight." Now that surprised me. My grandfather, Walter Bennett, rarely involved himself in family drama. He was 78, retired, brutally honest, and completely unimpressed by emotional manipulation. He built a construction company from nothing and treated excuses like a personal insult. He also scared everyone, including Dad. Especially Dad. I texted back, "Okay." That evening, I drove out to my grandparents' lake house expecting another lecture about family unity. Instead, Grandpa opened the door holding 2 beers. "That bad?" I asked. "Worse," he grunted. "Interesting." I followed him onto the back porch, overlooking the water. Grandma sat quietly nearby knitting, though I noticed she was paying very close attention. Grandpa handed me a beer. Then he said something I never expected. "You should have kicked them out sooner." I blinked. "What?" He took a sip calmly. "Your parents raised Vanessa to be helpless. Then they punished you for not being helpless too." I stared at him. Because in 28 years, nobody had ever said that out loud. Grandma sighed softly. "We tried to interfere years ago. Dad said you were always unfair to Mom." Grandpa barked out a laugh. "Your father says a lot of stupid things." I couldn't help smiling. Then Grandpa leaned forward. "You know what your sister did last week?" "No." "She asked me for $50,000. I nearly choked on my drink. "What?" Grandma nodded tiredly. "For a business opportunity." "What business?" "She wants to become a lifestyle influencer." I covered my face. "Of course she did." Grandpa shook his head. "When I said no, she told me I owed her because she's family." The irony nearly killed me. Then Grandpa looked directly at me. "You know why they're really angry?" "Because I said no." "Because you finally meant it." The words hit deep. Painfully deep. Because he was right. My family had survived on one assumption my entire life. Claire will eventually give in. But this time, I didn't. Grandpa stood slowly and reached into the pocket of his flannel jacket. Then he handed me an envelope. "What's this?" "Open it." Inside was a document. "Property paperwork." I frowned in confusion. Then I saw the address. My apartment building. I looked up sharply. Grandpa smiled slightly. "I own the building."